We do get that a lot. That's funny.
Hey there, this is Mobile Agent TV, helping agents stay on the cutting edge from coast to coast.
Welcome to Mobile Agent TV. I am Michael Thorne of RE/MAX Little Oak Realty, and my co-host, as always, is Dave Falkware from Bridgewater, New Jersey's RE/MAX Preferred Professionals in the Enviro Realty team. Dave, would you be a better contestant on Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy?
Jeopardy. I hate Wheel of Fortune. Jeopardy. I get Final Jeopardy every time.
There you go. I kind of thought that would be the answer. Now, did the intro play? Was the graphic up? Because there's going to be 2 shows in a row. Oh, it was up. Good. I didn't want to screw it up two weeks in a row. During the broadcast, you can interact with us live on Twitter using the hashtag MATVLive, as well as you can get us on Twitter at Mobile Agent TV. Really exciting news. I know there was difficulties. We worked through all the problems. The podcast is back up. That's where the majority of you guys listen to the show on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. So it's all back up. It's all up to date. We figured out our issues, and we're all good to go. It have to do with the WordPress plugin that we use to get the show out. Super excited. Jesse Peters and I are headed out to Toronto for a 2-day video boot camp on Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be awesome. If you are going to that event, we have Bruce Johnson will be there, Dave, so that's going to be really, really cool to get to hang out with him. It's going to be an amazing 2-day, going super deep on video, lots of great training. Looking forward to seeing everyone out there for that. Now, in from the corrections department, during the promo for this show, our crack team of marketers, Dave and I don't do any of the marketing for the show. We have a whole department that does it. Put out the fact that today's guest is the Executive Director of Education at RE/MAX LLC, but the correction is that she is the Vice President of Education and Training at RE/MAX LLC, so that has been corrected, which is so great. Now, Amy,
yes.
We normally read out our guest's 160 Twitter bio. I scoured Twitter for an account for you. Maybe I didn't find it. Do you tweet Amy Somerville? She does not.
You're going to call me out in the first 2 minutes of the show. I am not on Twitter.
Okay. Well, you know what? You don't have CJ's job. You're not head of social media. That's fine.
That's okay. It's okay that you're not on Twitter. You hear it from me first.
I work with an incredible team of people that tweet all day long, all the very important messages that need to get out to our followers, and I put all of my faith into them.
Perfect. There, that's all you need. So that's good. So normally we'd read out your 160 Twitter bio, Amy Somerville, but go ahead, give us a synopsis about who you are, and interestingly enough, which I think a lot of people don't realize in the RE/MAX world, your history in the real estate space.
Okay. I've been with RE/MAX a total of 12 and a half years or so now. I started as an agent and team lead in Albuquerque, New Mexico with RE/MAX. I was with RE/MAX Elite and also RE/MAX Masters there. 5 years into real estate, my husband and I moved to Denver, Colorado, and had the opportunity to work at RE/MAX headquarters. I started as a consultant, consulting franchise owners in the Central Atlantic and the Carolinas region, and then, about 5 years ago, moved down to RE/MAX University, where my primary responsibilities include teaching our new franchise owner training, as well as overseeing RE/MAX University education and training events.
And so how has the mistake that our marketing department made, how has that change in title affected your role here at RE/MAX and RE/MAX University?
You know, the only thing that it's done is I'm working a lot closer with our production company and the production team of the RE/MAX University staff.
Awesome. So we have a lot of viewers that watch the show live and recorded that aren't RE/MAX agents. We are going to talk about the importance of education, you know, the bigger picture, but we are going to delve into the advantage and the pluses of RE/MAX University too as well. Now, I've said it before, RE/MAX University was one of those things that were presented to our team that really encouraged us 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, to make the switch to RE/MAX. And so if people aren't familiar with RE/MAX University, one of the reasons why we found it so appealing is we were burning a whole lot of calories, our teams, trying to stay up to date, stay ahead of everyone else. And so we were sourcing all the education for ourselves and trying to then, I'd find out what worked and what didn't work, and then I'd present it to Jordan, Trish, and the rest of the team, and we decide what we wanted to implement and not implement. And when someone showed me the back door into Remax University and said, here's everything that's being curated for you in a very easy way to help you improve your business every single day. I realized that those were calories that I didn't have to burn anymore, and someone else was going to do it for us, and then we could get our head down and get into actually being with our clients and helping them in and out. So Dave, talk about someone that has seen Remax University develop over the years, because you've been a Remax agent forever, the value of having someone else burning all those calories for you so that you can do what you need to do is put them in your car.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've got most of the designations that I have from Remax University online somehow, and it also, other than the burning of the calories, going someplace physically to have to sit for 3 days to get a designation, it's proved invaluable to me. I mean, I was around when satellite network came along, and that was like phenomenal. It was just a phenomenal thing for our business. Without it, you're right. You're going to burn a lot of calories going and going a lot of places. Now it's right there where you need it, and it's all. If there's any downside to it, it's just there's too much. There's so much stuff there, and it again made me a lot of money.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Now, just so people are joining us, we can see the people coming in to watch the show. You can interact with us on Twitter using MLA, as well as get us at Mobile Agent TV. Katie Lance has this to say on Twitter, that she will get you on Twitter, Amy, but with no pressure whatsoever. I think she made the same offer to Dave about 1.5 years ago too, and I don't know how that's going, but I do see Dave tweet a little bit.
She's working at it still. It's very hard,
Yeah, she's working at it. So we've got some questions that came in. I don't know who this is. CJ asked, how awesome is it to work with Corey Vasquez every day? That was question number 1, Amy, that we wanted to ask you.
That's a very interesting question. I'm not really sure who this CJ character might be, but I'd have to say that it is one of my life's greatest opportunities is to come into work and work with Corey Joe Vasquez every single day.
Oh, Corey Joe! I didn't know her middle initial was J. That's weird. So let's dive right into it, Amy. The correlation between continued education and income, that correlation is, I mean, the stats are clear. We also see that correlation between agents that go to conferences and conventions and income. So what is that line? Because I think Holly actually had it on a graph on one of her webinars. As the designations went along, income was like exactly relative to education. So talk about the importance when it comes to growing your business to continue education.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to actually go back a little bit, and then I will address your question. I completely agree with you. When I started as a Remax agent, I didn't know about all the tools, all the incredible resources that we had as agents, and frankly, didn't know about them until I started here at headquarters building, which is really, truly, it's unfortunate that we don't communicate and we aren't marketing it, to the masses as well and as effectively as we'd like to. Remax University certainly being one of those tools. I agree with Dave. There's so much there. You kind of need to know exactly what you're looking for when you head to Remax University and what part of your business you're looking to improve. I think certainly in this marketplace, if you're looking at the United States market or if you're looking at the Canadian market, we are in a hot market. And a stable market where we need to have a competitive advantage, and that competitive advantage is going to be continuously educating ourselves, improving our knowledge so that we can go out and get those sellers, get those buyers, and be able to compete with the competition that much better.
Yeah, and you say it's a hot market, and it definitely is. But even and especially in the bad market, the 2008, 2009 market, I know we didn't have it here in Canada, but talking to a lot of Remax agents, if it wasn't for sort of LLC saying we're going to educate you on distressed properties, on all those other things, that we're going to keep you with the value to the consumer to help you continue to grow your business. I mean, I think Remax agents, there's a lot of Remax agents that made it through or succeeded in those years because of education. So that's definitely, Dave, maybe speak to how quickly in 2007 your skill set had to change, and if you didn't have that education there at your fingertips, it may have made, that could have been the nail in the coffin as far as your real estate career goes.
Well, absolutely. It's education and experience kind of got me through it. Certainly, we maintained just as much production through the worst time in a recession. Then we actually had a better year in the first year of the recession and the second year and the third year than we did when things were like crazy on fire. I prefer things when they're kind of going down a little bit, because the smart people rise to the top of the pile. And just to talk to something that Amy just said, the communication about between, she experienced it as an agent, and that's one of the really big pluses in my mind. And I wasn't aware that you were an agent, and that is a big, big plus. You walked in our shoes, because if there's a downside to some of the things, the way our company's structured, it's that there's a lot of people making decisions and doing things for us as agents who really don't know what we do. You know what we do out here, and you know how tough it can be, and working with buyers and sellers and that belly to belly, it's a whole different animal. And I really appreciate that, and I think that's going to talk to your job, that you're going to be able to do it much more effectively, because you know exactly what we do on a daily basis. One of the other things, 2 conventions ago, 2 R4s ago, there was a class I went to. It was about becoming a certified mentor for RSU. I forget what they called it.
Okay. Yep.
And I went through that class, and I was real excited about that, because going back to the communication part of it, one of the things that the agents kind of lack out here, if you don't have a real active broker owner, or it just depends on the demographics of where you're at. A lot of this stuff that RSU does, you don't know about, and then that certified mentor thing was discontinued, and I was kind of disappointed to see that. And so what I want you to take away from me is, consider that again, because that's going to link the communications from you guys to the regions to the agents out here. And the certified mentors were agents. These were people who were willing to share and do this. And I took the course. I was ready to go, and I was using it as a recruiting tool for my team, and sharing in my office. And I think it's a good thing to think about going forward.
Amy, is that the segue to momentum? Is that where we are now? Is that, we talked briefly today, is that now, should we talk about that now? Is that the replacement for something like that?
I don't know that I would say it's a replacement. Dave, definitely making a note of that. We did not have a lot of participation in that particular certification, but I'd love to hear that feedback, and we will certainly look at bringing it back. Momentum is a broker franchise development program, kind of at its top level. And what we're trying to do is, yes, educate broker owners on basic business practice, how to run their office, but it also focuses very heavily on making the agent the customer. And with making the agent the customer, and that being the sole focus, we really focus on agent development. So from the broker to the agent, providing training, providing education, providing masterminding, accountability programs, consulting, so that the value coming from the broker is, certainly that much more valuable to the agent, and it's more customizable.
And when did that start rolling out, Amy? Is it as new brokers come in, or are we then bringing in brokers are coming into Denver, or they're doing it online, or wherever it is? Are we recertifying our brokers so that they are communicating the value of something like RE/MAX University to their consumer, which is the agent?
Right. We rolled out Momentum broker training in September of 2014. We teach it live through new broker training, so new franchise owners that come through from around the world are exposed to Momentum and the basic founding principles of Momentum. And then it's also taught live in particular regions around the United States, as well as we're actually, Australia's looking at it. I'm getting ready to prepare to present it. Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Israel. So it is certainly, and I almost want to take away the word program and say, we want this to be more of the way of life for RE/MAX affiliates. Really focused on the business aspect of running, as an independent contractor, as an agent, as an independent contractor, an independently owned franchise owner, really taking the whole big picture of what it is to run a business.
And Dave, as a former broker, that's it. Your agents are your customers. Retention is as important. Their success means they don't leave. And so, recruiting is necessary, but retention is like repeat and referral business in our business, Dave. That's the key to success.
It's even bigger, Michael, because recruiting is the hardest thing that a broker owner is ever going to do. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, is try to recruit agents to RE/MAX. And when I got them here, retaining them is really easy if you do it right. I mean, if you expose them to all of this stuff, but if you just bring them in and sit them in a desk and you lose them, it's just too hard to get them to go ahead and let them go like that. And those kinds of tools, I mean, I believe the broker owners owe it to these agents. That's why you recruit them to RE/MAX, and they owe it to them. And retention's way more important than even recruiting is.
Dave, you'll bear this out that our industry is getting more and more complicated, not only in the actual practice, the legality of it, the things we do for our clients, but also in the marketing and how we communicate and propose our value. I just finished my licensing, my credits for my licensing for the next 2 years, and as I'm sitting there, as someone that's been doing this for 22 years, when our contract used to be 1 page as long, and we're talking about disclosure and all this other stuff, and it just seems to be more and more of an obstacle. Those traditional things, those bedrocks of negotiation and taking care of the client, that doesn't change, yet we've added all this new stuff on it because we're not in control of the data anymore. Our marketing has to get more sophisticated and all this stuff. So, Amy, as the industry continues to change, how does RE/MAX University gauge what an agent needs or a broker needs in this changing real estate world to make sure that the content at RE/MAX University is up to date and it's valuable for the agents that are competing in 2015?
I would say probably the number one reason, or the number one way, is we ask them. we ask them directly, pretending that we know everything that is going on in each individual market and what agents need to be successful in their individual circumstances. We would like to say that we're always cutting edge. We're always at the table in the forefront of what's happening in different, both the real estate industry as well as government agencies and U.S. and Canada, and we know what's hot off the presses. But if we, from a large concept to more of a streamlined or detailed concept, we take it right to the agents. We take it right to our customer, and we say, if we provided this, would this be a benefit to you? We're providing this. What can we do better? So I would say that probably that is our most direct resource for that request.
So in 2015, Amy, what are those things that the agent, that already exists at RE/MAX University, or they would like to see? What is it that's on their plate that they really desire to sharpen their skills at?
Okay. Really, it can be market specific, I'll tell you that, kind of depending on where you're located. The top 3 quick hits that we've had with RE/MAX University as far as people signing on, logging on, learning from quick hits. Top 3 quick hits were first one on building a team, and I can tell you that is a huge initiative for RE/MAX University this year. The second was on clever negotiation, so creative negotiation skills. In many markets, we're talking to people. My husband is also an agent. My mother-in-law is also an agent. Shout out to both of them, both RE/MAX agents. But they're in markets and they are dealing in multiple offers all day long. If they are representing a buyer, they really have to be very clever with the negotiation skills. So I would say negotiation is also hot on the minds of RE/MAX University content developers. And then finally, from the technology aspect, getting exposure on YouTube. That, obviously video has made its impact on the real estate market, and it's becoming more and more on the forefront, more important for our agents to feel like they are putting together something that is well produced, succinct, and delivering the message that they want to deliver.
So Dave, those 3 topics bear out what we've learned on Mobile Agent TV, or we've heard the last 3 years too as well, is teams, which is a huge topic and will continue to be just the nature of education and mentoring and all that sort of stuff. Then you get to negotiations, which in the book Real Trends was the #1 thing that a buyer wanted in 2014 was quality negotiation skills, and that's really where the rubber meets the road, put them in your car skill set comes from. And then video. Those 3 things we've heard over and over and over again, and that's interesting. That's, once again, if that's where it is and that content exists at RE/MAX University and you're looking to build a team, it's nice to have that stuff there so you don't have to blow those calories. You can go there and sharpen your tool.
And all the people we've had on this show about all of those subjects, as everybody knows, is willing to share. And that's kind of, from my mind, where a lot of this where the real grassroots stuff comes from. All the agents in this company that are willing to share with other agents, mobile agent TV, those kinds of things. It just look at our episodes and pick out somebody who's talking about a team. That's one way to do it. Remax University, tons of stuff there. It's all there. When we've talked about that over and over again.
I'm going to interrupt to just say, Dave, you're right on the money. That's exactly right. We are the home of the best. We have the experts right in our wheelhouse and can reach out to them at any time and focus on what's working best for them, best practices to share throughout the network. That's, I would say, one of the best things about the Remax network in general is we've got the best of the best and we're all willing to share. So it puts us in a better position.
Yeah, and I've said it many times. Sorry, I'm just responding to tweets. Thanks, Jeremy. That shocked me a lot when I came to Remax. It's natural when you're the best. You're not working from a position of fear. And like Lee Brown says, when you can work from a position of plenty, your attitude changes instantly. And when you're in the Remax system, you're surrounded by a bunch of people that feel like they have plenty and actually do have plenty. And the sharing really blows my mind. Back to the very first day or second day I ever met Dave, R4 3 years ago, Dave and I got off stage, and it was a great presentation. You and I think, stood out in the hallway together for a half an hour answering questions from people, which is fantastic. But one of the people came up to me and asked me, and Amy and I talked about this earlier today, she asked me, so where do you buy your leads from? And I had, as a Canadian, had never even heard that expression before. I was standing there with Jordan and Trish, and we couldn't even get our heads around what could that possibly mean? Where could you purchase your leads from? And we've seen a shift in our industry going from traditional grassroots skills and tools and whatnot to then being able to write a check, and there's a lot of successful agents and inside the Remax brand that have done this way. But what if that system of driving traffic, filling your funnels, changes or disappears or augments or becomes more expensive, and then you're left without the skills? I'm concerned about some agents that are getting in this business that didn't go through the years that Dave and I went through when you had no options but to put boots on the ground. What happens if that changes? We've seen in Canada this week Zoocasa, which initially started off like a Zilla Trillia, then became its own company that's owned by Rogers, the company that owns the Toronto Blue Jays and all this other stuff. They pulled the plug this week. They're done. They're hanging up their hat. They can't compete. So there was a lot of people purchasing leads through Zoocasa in Canada. Not a lot, but some people were. But now that avenue's gone. We've got to talk about the importance of, even in this digital world of these funnels, what if that goes away and you're left without the skill set, the traditional open house skill set? Amy, to talk about how you deal with agents and the fundamentals that have changed. The fundamentals seem to have changed in 2015, perhaps.
And I would say that the fundamentals of real estate have never changed. The best practices are the best practices. You're going to have new trends come in from year to year, depending on what's going on in the marketplace and what's going on, certainly with technology. We had an interesting event that Remax hosted, our Diamond Chairman event, which is kind of our best of the best agents in Remax, met out in Scottsdale in April. And our U.S. market, big hot topic. They're talking about lead generation, purchasing leads. Is there a good return on investment? Who's getting what for what? And it was really interesting to see that the Canadian contingent was very strongly, well, first of all, it was a, gosh, we don't do that here, but it went back to the basics, absolutely back to the basics. And it was kind of there was silence in the room when it came out. Was like, gosh, you know what we're focused on? We're focused on getting more for sale signs and yards. Don't ever underestimate the power of the Remax for sale sign. Don't ever underestimate the power of a Remax business card. Don't ever underestimate the power of the Remax referral, and then just agent-to-agent referral network. Your relationships, your sphere, that's where we're investing our money. We're not buying leads. We're buying into the traditional marketing that we've always done. And there were a lot of U.S. agents sitting in the room and went, oh. Yeah, let's not have this conversation. Let's go back, so tell us, what are you doing? So getting back to the basics, absolutely. I think Remax University is a great resource for that, where we are going to hit the trendy topics as well. The majority of our content is going to be the basic standard, and helping agents master the basics, not just know a whole bunch of little things about everything, but mastering the basics of what is good real estate practice. And the people who will master that will master the market.
Yeah, and Amy, I didn't want to suggest that the fundamentals has changed. Sometimes I think the perception of what a fundamental business is, as long as I can get some leads, weed through them, and only deal with the A+ leads, that I don't really need a skill set to close or to help.
That's right.
I think the skill of an agent is to help someone who isn't a slam dunk client through a very troubling time or exciting time or whatever it is. Dave, you said it before. There's a lot of buyers and sellers out there that need our help as professionals because they're in a position that isn't always fun and always full of gravy. They need us to act like professionals, and that's where designations and skill set and experience and those basics really fundamentally come into play, and that's where you can build your business. It's just not dealing with walk in the door and selling that later that afternoon clients.
Well, you have to build your business by referral and not be a transactional broker, because if you do it the other way, you're going to burn out at some point, and it's just not fun. I couldn't imagine being just a transactional broker, deal to deal to deal, and not have relationships with people. I mean, that's kind of what puts the glue here, and that's one of the things, you've heard me talk about social media. There's a lot of benefits to it, absolutely, but there's a downside to it too, that a lot of, if you don't understand it and you just go off the wrong way, I think at some point in time there's going to be some kind of ramifications to pay for this, for the way we're doing, not necessarily real estate agents, but just people in general. I heard a thing this morning on the radio, somebody's doing a wedding, where they're on every table they're now going to have connections to charge your phones, and they're going to have this little tweeting thing amongst all the tables at the wedding, and it's like, to me, I don't know, some of this stuff is getting way off track. So the basics in real estate, they better be there, because they're always going to be there no matter what happens. The change is happening so fast, we know that. We have no idea what's coming next. We don't know what's going to happen with Zillow, Trulia, these lead generators. If somebody could tell me what's going to happen in a year with them, I think you're full of it. There's no way you know. And it's going to change. It's going to change.
But the one thing you said, Dave, which I totally believe in, and we've built our business not only on traditional ways of taking care of our clients, that's what we're built on, but social is being the way that we reach new consumers. Mm-hmm. But one thing you have to accept is change. This, like you said, it's going to change again and change again. This is why this constant sharpening of your tool, nothing changed for a long time when I was in the business. 10 years, then the fax machine showed up and everyone lost their minds, but nothing the previous 9 years happened. Nothing happened. Those days are gone. I don't know what it is, but it will constantly change. Just want to put out there, Jeremy, talk about great agents in the RE/MAX. Jeremy Blanton says anyone that wants help with their video in Southeast United States, to reach out to Jeremy Blanton. You can get him on Twitter at Jeremy Blanton. And then he also said, if you're looking to improve your video skills, you can go to remaxplay.com and join our Facebook group. That's really a fantastic place to interact with people that are building their video presence, and social is a really powerful tool, Dave, used properly. But when it's used wrong, it can be distracting. But there's no doubt our consumers change. Amy, how have you found dealing with, because you do a lot of broker training, the brokers generally aren't under 40s. They're generally, you see the odd one. It always surprises me when I see an under 40. It always sort of freaks me out. They're generally older agents, experienced agents, and then they're trying to recruit younger. I think RE/MAX has done a great job of the last couple of years. It seems to me is trying to get a little younger, a little bit more vibrant, going that way. What advice are they looking for dealing with not only a millennial or a younger agent who just fundamentally functions in a different way, but understanding that those agents are going to appeal to those types of consumers? What's the learning curve there for an older established broker?
That's an interesting question, and I think every broker is going to have their own learning curve. But I think what we're focused on, we're focused on several things. The first is helping the broker truly define who their customer is, and then finding, if that customer is and they are interested in recruiting and retaining millennial agents, asking the question, what do millennial agents want, and providing that. You can't, you can't recruit to a new sector if you're not changing the way that you're doing business. And what that looks like, for the most part, in conversations we're having with broker owners is, serious environment. What does your location look like? Are you introducing the cafe concept? Cafe concept is, something that was introduced a couple of years ago. It's certainly one of the hotter trends, where the offices don't have traditional office spaces, where you have more of a cafe. That's right, and you have more of a, you've got the fantastic technology and access to even walking traffic and potential business that way. Providing education, providing kind of a group environment for people to sit around and collaborate, a collaborative environment, a supportive environment. Again, development, consulting, those kinds of things that I think have gotten away from the broker a little bit, where the broker maybe didn't feel confident providing those opportunities or those skills or tools. They were outsourcing them a lot. And we're trying to change the focus. Hey, broker owners, you all need to be, providing that value. And if what you're looking for are millennials, there's very specific things. We're looking at paperless environments. We're looking at, like I said, the cafe concept, or a fantastic location, a collaborative space where people feel safe to share. So. Learning curve, good question. It'd be interesting to see how that's measured. We certainly have brokers that have been in the system a long time who are like, all right, let's make the change. It's time to change. I apologize. My phone is ringing. I will divert that.
No, it's fine. But Dave, I almost said what, in the Momentum program, Amy too as well, is going, and that's what we need to do as agents too, is go to our consumers and go, in 2015, what value can I add? I mean, you're always going to add those staples, right? Taking care of helping them through the contract. But I ask my clients all the time, what can I provide you that make this a good experience? And Dave, basically, go to your agent and find out what it is. And for you, Dave, who runs a team, is a team leader, what is it you're finding that has changed that when someone says, yeah, I want to be a part of the Enviro Realty team, I want to grow my business, here's where I need help, or here's what I think I need as far as knowledge. Where are those sectors? I mean, obviously the traditional stuff, but what are you finding that differs in 2015 than a team member that wants to be part of the team back in 2005?
Well, and surprisingly, actually, because we just did a whole brainstorming thing here with the team the other day about what they're looking for, and what's important and what's not. And one of the things that really surprised me was they're not all looking for more money.
No.
What comes up on the top of the list is collaboration between people. They want to be around other people. They don't want to be a lone wolf. And education, and to have time off. It's more important to them to have some time off. Not like we used to work. We work 24/7. Work like crazy people. And it's going to a more almost like, I don't want to say casual, but money's not the most important thing. Having a decent income, that is important, but it's down the list. And it really surprised me because I just thought everybody wants to make more money. I'm to the point where money's important, but it's down my list now. But for many, many years, it was at the top of the list, and it didn't matter. We had to go out, we had to work 7 days a week. So that surprised me.
But you know what? That's interesting, Dave. I don't even think that's just the agent. I also think it's the consumer. Actually, I was fortunate enough, you'll be super jealous, Dave, but I got to hang out with the Bomb guys in here in Vancouver. I got to have dinner with Nine Finger James and Steve Passanelli and Sean as well.
Nine Finger who?
Nine Finger James. That he's from Texas. I don't know. I won't say anything.
We have those kinds of names here in Jersey for people.
Yeah, it's anyway. And one of the things we're talking about that I really surprised with my consumer is 10 years ago on a Saturday when I was going to go spend time with my family, I would say to my buyers and sellers, sorry, I can't help you, I'm in a meeting. That's what I would say because that's what they wanted to hear. Now they want me to say, I can't show you Saturday because I'm going out to my kids' baseball tournament, but I can help you Sunday at 4:30. There is something that has fundamentally changed in our society that people connect to you more now when there's this balance. I think buyers and sellers, and maybe not all buyers and sellers, and maybe not all markets, but I know the people that we want to work with not only accept that we have lives, they want us to have lives. And Dave, Amy, Dave, have you found that too as well? As not only it's an agent thing, it's a consumer thing that's definitely changed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The work-life balance is huge. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a broker, an agent, or a consumer. My husband, as I mentioned, is also an agent, and he just told me the same story. He's being very open and honest and saying, you know what, I've been working 3 weeks straight, and I'm going to take some time with my wife and my kids. And he said the respect I get is unbelievable. We were in the real estate market, goodness, 10 years ago, and that was not the case. We were expected to drop everything for, during holidays, Thanksgivings, Christmases, summer breaks. We missed a lot with our families and took a big hit from our families for doing that and having to explain, we're entrepreneurs. We've got to have, every transaction opportunity. We've got to be out there running. It doesn't matter what the, special occasion is. These days, that's not the case. They do want the honest communication, and the consumer absolutely expects you to have a life beyond supporting them. And going back to the value piece that you mentioned, as long as the value is conveyed from the agent to the consumer, we're here to serve you. Right? We're here to support you, whether you're in a tough time or a fantastic time, and this is a celebration type of purchase. We're here to support whatever your needs are. They get that. If you need, sorry, I can't show you homes on Saturday and Sunday because this is what I'm doing, there's an absolute respect there because they know that you're working on their behalf.
Yeah, and that almost goes back to, and that almost goes back to about the the structure of once again, structure of teams. The reason why teams make more sense is because you can have balance. You can still provide great service to your client. They're not left out on the wings, Dave. I mean, this continues to be the overall riding theme about balance, about work. You say all the time, Dave, that your time off makes you a better agent for your consumer, all this sort of stuff. But what it really fundamentally comes back to, Dave, is the agent that builds a transactional business has to go, can never take their foot off the pedal because they don't know about tomorrow.
Right.
Once you've built a business and built it properly, you're pretty confident about tomorrow. I'm pretty confident about what next year's spring for Trish, Jordan, and I looks like outside a major change in the economy or something else. I know that we have our ducks, we are building relationships, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty hard to take your foot off the pedal, Dave, and have balance if you're not willing to build a business.
That's right.
Put aside the service mindset. When we teach our classes about listing presentations, it's always about the service mindset to start with. But what's more important is treat yourself like a professional. And there's a very easy analogy that I use all the time when we're teaching these calls. We're talking to somebody and they want to know. They say, suppose you're like a brain surgeon. How does a brain surgeon do this? Or some kind of specialty doctor. If you pick up the phone, and say, I would like to come in. I want to come in Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. No, you can't. You treat yourself like a professional. The professionals don't, they're not there 24/7. We're here to serve you, but common sense says, I guess I would say to you, if you did have something really wrong with yourself and you needed a specialist, but it's not life-threatening, would you want to use a doctor or anybody who just said, yeah, come on in, I got nothing to do. Whatever, tell me when you want to come in. It's like, it doesn't work that way. And treat yourself the same way.
You don't want someone to come in and tile your kitchen floor that's available on a 2-hour notice. It's just
exactly. Well, and understand you have some experience with that, my friend.
Amy, one of the things when it comes to RE/MAX University, comes to Lead Street, comes to all the stuff, all the amazing stuff, and I'm sorry to some of our viewers. I'm not sorry. This is a RE/MAX Love Fest because it's the best company. It's changed my life, changed my family's lives. One of the things about RE/MAX that Dave and I talked about, it's almost overwhelming. There are too many tools. There's too much stuff out there. And I don't mean too much. I'm just saying if you don't have time to do everything that's offered, so you get to sort of pick and choose what you want. What exists in the back end of RE/MAX University? What education's there that quite often busy agents aren't aware that opportunity exists for them at their fingertips? What would you like people to know deep down how robust RE/MAX University is and what education exists for them?
Okay. I'll give you a little history lesson. How about that? Dave said,
Sure.
when it was RSN. Remax launched RSN, which was our satellite network, in 1994. We were the first real estate company to offer anything of the like, to provide any kind of video training that way. Today we provide, have a library of over 1,000 videos, which includes quick hits. It could be, a couple-minute video to, 30 minutes or an hour quick hit, on topics from everything from business planning to listing presentations to personal, personal marketing. Everything you can possibly think of can be found on Remax University. I think what most agents don't know is how easy it is to access. Going back to Dave's comment about, gosh, I was the same way. Where I got my education, certainly for continuing education, I went to the board. I committed 6-7 hours. I couldn't do any other business because they made us turn off our phones. And during the break, the 10-minute break, we'd run out and try and put out every fire that was going on. Now you can get education through Remax University on demand, easy access, 24 hours a day, whenever you want. If you've got a couple minutes, 20, 30 minutes before bed to watch something other than, television, jump on Remax University, watch a quick hit. If you, gosh, I guess beyond that, I've talked to agents, brokers alike, who find themselves on weekends saying, I may not have time, but while I'm doing the laundry, while I'm running the lawnmower, I'll just put some earbuds in and I'll listen to a quick video on Remax University. Designation certifications, again, that's no longer a full day commitment at a board. You can take that at your own pace, at your own leisure, through Remax University, get that credit. The other thing people may not know about is that we do a lot of work with CE Shop, who powers continuing education. We have both U.S.-based education courses as well as Canadian, so you can get your continuing education also through e-learning and online, and very easily accessible and convenient to the agent. Also, I'll put in a quick plug, also work with all of our education partners, Buffini and Ferry and some of the top coaches in the network, certainly our councils, our designations, our luxury certification, commercial. We touch every aspect you can possibly think of any agent would want to specialize, and we are constantly, constantly providing promos, promotional deals, discounts. So take a look on Main Street. You should probably also get it announcements in the online above editions. But we'll tell you, hey, this is the special, or take advantage of this right now. Ferry has a special going on. CE Shop, Buffini will have a special in the next couple weeks. So things that agents don't know, I could spew and spew and spew and spew all these wonderful things about Remax University. I guess it'd come down to the convenience, the pricing discounts that agents have access to, and the fact that we want to work with the busy agent's lifestyle. We're not forcing you to log in at a particular time. Anytime you want, check it out. We've got recorded sessions. Of course, Holly Mae Odom does an incredible job on all of our technology training through webinars. If you can't hit those live, they're recorded. There is so much, as you guys keep pointing out, to highlight and to say, but that's it in a nutshell. We'd love to see you consume more education from us, and let us know. Always let us know. As we've talked about, our experts are you all in the field. Let us know if we're missing the mark, or if there's something you'd like us to spend more time on. As Dave's pointed out on that RU certified advisor, if you want to see something come back or more of a topic, we'd love to hear from you.
And that
Michael, to talk to a point real quick that she just said about connecting this, there's too much for the agents. Really, there's a lot there. My suggestion would be, we always talked about treating this like a business. Come up with a business plan. If you're a real estate agent, you just joined Remax. Go, part of your business plan. What in RSU am I going to specialize in? What of these designations or classes or quick hits do I need to look at? And just pick out the ones and focus on what it is you're doing in the field. If I'm handling luxury houses, go to that end of it. If I'm doing distressed properties, go to that end of it, and don't get distracted by all the stuff. Because I know there's a lot of agents that do, there's so much. They go here, they go there. Pretty soon they got a potpourri of a lot of information, and they're focusing on adult communities, and they have a distressed property designation. It's an easy way to do it. Business plan, focus, pick out what you need, and go there, and just sort of ignore the rest. Use what's going to make you money.
Exactly. I mean, I think it has to be tailored to your consumer. What does your consumer want? What sort of needs do you have? Like, you know, distressed property wasn't something in British Columbia in 2009 we needed. But I think if you were in Florida, you probably needed it. So that's that. I mean, you find out what the holes are in your business. It's there. It's overwhelming.
Don't get a designation just to get a designation and put some letters next to your name. Because if you want to do that, you don't need to go get a designation. Just make up some kind of a designation, you know, on the Lennox property expert, and call yourself an LPE and stick it next to your name. You know, if that's all you want to do. But that's not going to give you any benefit. But you know, you shouldn't be doing it that way.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into now you got me going. So when it comes to designation certifications, we could tie that to the millennial. You are right on the mark. One of the things I think certainly I've been preaching, and I think you're going to see more from RE/MAX University as well, is it's not okay just to have letters behind your name. It does have to tie to a need, a desire, a want from your consumer. If you're looking to work with military buyers, get the military certification. But the other thing is, don't just use the letters. The consumer doesn't understand what the letters mean. You know, walk through, explain to, I have the CLHMS. What does that mean? I'm a certified luxury home marketing specialist. That means that I am able to help those, you know, those agents or those consumers that are looking to buy and sell homes that are in luxury that much better, because I've been, you know, I've been groomed, I've been educated, and I'm more knowledgeable on that topic. Using, you know, just the acronyms and the letters is just not doing it for the consumer. So I agree. I think we're in a whole different evolution of how we explain the education that we have. And I guess I would share that with the consumer. The consumer is expecting us to be the experts. That's who we are at RE/MAX. Share that information. This is the education I'm getting. This is the, you know, these are the quick hits I'm learning from.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that comes into back to your listing presentation, buyer presentation, educate, differentiate, and add value. That's what Dave says. You've got to do one of those three things. So if you're educating yourself, then you can educate the client. And if you're up against someone else, and you can say, look, I've been trained in these things. Like, this is what I'm ready for. And they go back to the other agent, and they ask them if they have the Lennox property expert tagline. You know, they don't. And that's the differentiator. And this isn't going to change. This education thing, this is speeding up, and it will continue to speed up as the consumer changes. And one of the things that's evident to me, I identify quite a bit with the millennial. When I go to RE/MAX University, I lean so heavy towards video content. That's just the way we consume. And if we acknowledge that as an individual, or as an individual, you know, when you're out trying to connect with a potential consumer, you know, they're looking for video. That's how they want to be explained to. And not everybody, but when you look at who you are and who you're trying to appeal to, I love the video content on RE/MAX University. I can throw it up on the television. I can lay back. I can learn something when I've got a free half an hour. I would way rather do that than learn. But that's the way my brain, and I think the generation behind us, are going to continue to learn too as well. Lots of, yeah, see, I don't even know what some of the designations are, so if I don't understand the lettering, then...
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. This is my industry.
I think I saw Dave the very first conference, and he has them off his, like, they go down to his belt, and I just go, what are those? I don't even know what they are.
We tend to do that in the States, Michael. We're a little different over here.
Yeah, you guys definitely. I mean, back east in Ontario, they're much more focused on the designations than we are. Certainly, if I have noticed something when it comes to the conferences I go to, not everyone, but generally Western Canada just don't see or haven't accepted the value of designations as much as other parts, especially the States and back east. So we're already at 50 minutes. Amy, we're going to let you get back to helping all the amazing agents in our network. I think 93,000, 95,000. I don't know how many there are of us now.
100,000. 100,000. We're back.
I should know that. 100,000. I should know that. I saw the blog post that you're right. 100,000 people. So just talk about your responsibility. I mean, OA, Ontario Atlantic, Integra is separate. But are you providing education? Is RE/MAX University providing education to Australia, to South America, or is this a North America thing that have access to RE/MAX University?
No, absolutely. We provide education all over the world.
Okay. And so, what has differed? What have you noticed now that we continue to expand? Has some of the education have new things been exposed? The wants of the consumer, are the agent changed? Is it much different in Europe, or are the same fundamentals the same no matter where we are?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. Depending on the topic, I mean, we are certainly, I'm sure you've heard this, RE/MAX is in nations that don't have MLSs, they don't have boards, they don't have any way to display properties, they don't have licensing laws, they don't have ways to, or contracts or commitments to pay commissions. We hear crazy stories on the international front of how real estate is being done. But there are other nations that are running very similar to the way that we do. Education, I remember having a random sideline. Remember having a conversation with RE/MAX of Egypt, and we were providing lots and lots of education. They said, "Okay, what is this open house situation? What is it? What do we do with open house?" And I said, I think if I were you, I would not do that. We'll just go ahead and take that away. So that concept is totally and completely foreign in some nations where for the rest of them, an open house is a concept that applies, universally. So we do have to be particular with the education. We have a wonderful international group here that fields information and requests videos even be translated. So we do our best to make sure that everybody's getting what they need in their market area.
Fantastic. Let me leave you with one last question, unless Dave has something he wants to follow up on. Where's the future of RE/MAX University go now? What does RE/MAX University look like in a couple of years? How does the content change? Any insight to that?
Well, first of all, I'll just tell you it's flat out amazing. The future of RE/MAX is bright. The future of RE/MAX University is also bright. I wonder how much I can say here. We are definitely looking at providing better user experience, going back to the conversation we've had now 3 and 4 times, that we provide so much that for the user it can be overwhelming. So we'll definitely be looking at streamlining the user experience and making that a little bit easier. And as far as the content, we're going to be, trying to be ahead of the marketplace so that we can keep our agents abreast to what we think are the hot topics and keep them informed and give them that competitive advantage that every agent in RE/MAX should have.
And thank you so much for that. Literally, it's been so amazing for my clients, not only the education that I've gone through in RE/MAX University, but the distraction of burning those calories to find this information. You don't underestimate getting an extra hour of your life back every day, or 3 hours a week back. What we were out scouring, the internet, or asking other agents, what we should be doing to stay ahead. It's nice that I can just go there and it's there, and that allows me to spend more time with my family and my consumer, and ultimately everyone wins. And it's been a huge asset since we came to RE/MAX to have RE/MAX University. So thank you, Amy and the crew at LLC that does it for us. I think it's invaluable. Dave, I know you're a huge believer in education, about constantly sharpening the tool, because this industry continues to change, and you have to stay razor sharp. You owe it to yourself, to your business, to your family. You owe it to your consumer too as well.
Well, you do, and I haven't said it yet on this show, but I've said it on previous ones. The brokers, the agents, you need to kind of keep up with this stuff, or you're going to get left behind. It's just sort of the way it is, and the key is you have to do it just so you can benefit the consumer. The consumer is going to go somewhere else if you don't. So, and you'll lose your business. So just
the consumer is too educated now for you not to be.
Absolutely. You don't have a choice. If you're a broker owner or you're an agent that just poo-poos all of this stuff, you don't have a choice. You are going to get left behind. It's just a fact.
And that's why I see the huge benefit of people. And once again, I'll give my little RE/MAX thing. I think there's some great boutique and smaller franchises out there that are doing a fantastic job. Fantastic job. I know I was left out on my own to get my own education, to sharpen my own tools. So if you're in that scenario, take a peek at something that like RE/MAX University. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. It made us change companies after 18 years somewhere else. So one of the best decisions, well, the best business decision I ever made. RE/MAX University was a big part of that. Dave, we've already heard from you. Any particular takeaways?
No real takeaways other than just a giveaway to Amy, and that's that they're doing an unbelievable job. It just keeps getting better all the time from LLC, and university is it's the best there is. You know, I look around a lot of training programs, and it's all there. You know, we're connected to everything, and I thank you, Amy, and everybody there for what you guys do. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. I will definitely pass that along to all the hardworking teams back behind the wall here. And you know, stay tuned. I guess that's what I'll say is I'll tease you and say stay tuned. More great education coming for you in the way of quick hits, videos, designation certifications, and user experience.
That's awesome. Thanks, Amy. Amy, if people want to reach out to you and suggest topics or get feedback or bounce stuff off you, how does someone in the Remax world or not the Remax world pick your brain, get a hold of you? Not on Twitter.
I was just gonna tell a joke about that.
You were just gonna say to tweeter.
I was just gonna say go ahead and tweet me, and I'm sure somebody will get back to you.
I think Holly's been working on it throughout the show. There's a lot of talk about what handle they're gonna choose for you. So I think it was set up here pretty quick.
How about
how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you, Amy?
They can email me anytime at Somerville, that's spelled SOMERVILLE at remax.com. Call over to headquarters. Most people know how to find me. And again, anytime, any questions, any suggestions, any ideas, we're always looking for them.
Awesome. Dave, we've already finished up with you. You're all good. We're straight away. We're off next week because I'm out in Toronto doing my a 2-day boot camp, video boot camp out there with a bunch of awesome Remax agents. We will be tweeting and periscoping from there. Jeremy and I are super excited. And thank you to Valerie and the rest of the crew there at OA for having us out. It's going to be a fantastic 2 days. Rarely do I get a chance to, and Dave, you know the difference between this. When you get an hour to present, it's hard to really give them, you know, the potatoes. You know, it's really hard to really go deep. You're really selling the sizzle. 2 days to sit there and talk to a bunch of great agents about video. We get to go deep. I'm super excited about this. This is a unique opportunity, and it's going to be awesome. So looking forward to seeing the Remax agents out in Toronto next week, and then we'll return the following week. After that, I think that we're already into July, and we've got a couple live shows that are going to come to everyone in the fall, as well as our 100th show. It's creeping up on us at episode 87 here. 100
we got to start planning that one.
We have to figure out something for 100, so that's coming around the corner too. That'll be a few months away here. But thank you all for watching. Thank you, everyone. You can find us on the podcast on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio, as well as you can find all of our past episodes at mobileagenttv.com. Thank you all for watching. If you have any referrals coming out to the East Coast of the United States, get a hold of Dave, and he'll put you in the hands of the right Remax agent. Any referrals coming out to the West Coast of Canada, get a hold of me, and I'll put you in the hands of the right Remax agent out here. And as Melanie Gelly of Remax Fort Memory wants us to end every show, please tell 5 other Remax agents about Mobile Agent TV. We grow every week. Our audience starts to expand. It's been phenomenal. It allows us to reach out to people like Amy Somerville that will give us an hour of her very valuable time to help everyone, all of our viewers. So I thank you very, very much. I think that is it. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Thank you, everything you do at Remax LLC. Thank you to your doppelganger, CJ, for always being so grateful for hooking us up. I appreciate that. Thank you, Amy. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you both.